I'm just laughing because, okay, we're going to be talking about Civic Duty, which is about a man who pretty much gets laid off and has nothing to do all day but spy on his neighbor, who just happens to be Middle Eastern, and so therefore he thinks he's a terrorist.
Well, plus this takes place like right after 9/11.
Yeah.
And you know, I wouldn't be surprised they even shot it then, because this is a small movie, like something that would have played in a festival. But just by the fact that they got like a couple of actors that you might recognize, they must have got a little bit of distribution money, and they got it out there into the art house theaters.
Well, they got some names in there too. At least one, Peter Krause.
Yeah, Peter Krause and Richard Schiff. People know Richard Schiff from The West Wing.
Yeah,
Peter Krause from 6 Feet Under.
Yeah,
exactly. And yeah, like I said, it's a very simple story. This guy just spends he's hanging out at his window all day.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been laid off so many times, and I've been in that loop of like not spying on my neighbor, but just where like I got stuck on doing something or checking things on the internet to where I just got too wrapped up in it and couldn't see that I was too wrapped up in it.
Well, see, that's fine. I mean, I'd say sit around and look at internet porn all day if you have to, but when you get wrapped up in your neighbor like this guy was, I mean, he has his TV on the terrorist channel 24 hours a day, which is not helping his mind.
How many times have we seen the same thing, except the guy's leaning out the other window where it's the hot chick who keeps getting undressed in front of there, then catches him looking, and it sets off on a series of madcap, wacky adventures. I mean, I'm just saying, if you got your choice of windows...
Yeah, well,
where he lived, there was no hot chicks around.
Exactly.
Except his wife.
Yeah, that's another thing. His wife, I forgot who played her.
Yeah, I've never really seen her before.
I've never really seen her either, but she's hot. And so, see, this guy ain't got no excuse, man. None. Except that he's insane. It's like Rear Window or even Disturbia, except instead of the normal guy looking at the crazy guy's looking out at everybody else. Because this guy really does lose his mind, and that's where the meat of the film is. That's why I really enjoyed it.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, the thing is that this movie has the premise of like, hey, it's a normal guy who has a few things go wrong, and then it starts to domino and spin his life out of control. But as it goes along, you start, by the end you realize like, no, this guy was kind of teetering on the edge before any of this started.
Yeah,
and this just pushed him over.
Yeah, you get some clues that his ass was crazy before this happened.
Yeah, he was gonna go off on somebody. It's just that poor Middle Eastern guy just happened to be the one who lived next door to him.
And it really is funny. I mean, he's losing his temper like Daffy Duck. He's losing it, man. His wife is telling him, "You need to hurry up and find a job and leave this man alone over here." And of course, he doesn't, and his wife walks out for a little while, so he just begins to go way crazy. And after that second half, that's where the movie just goes into overkill.
Well, okay, it makes the mistake that every small film I see in the festival makes, in that they get to that climax point and they aren't sure what to do, so a character pulls out a gun. And once the gun comes out, it changes the whole movie, and most of the time ends up going to hell.
Yeah, and
the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Hitchcock.
Yeah. You pull out the gun, you have to use it, and the movie completely changes from what it started out as.
Look at Cyrus pulling out the MacGuffin.
Sorry. That's the term.
My man Hitchcock used to say MacGuffin. I thought MacGuffin was a bird. When
Hitchcock once said to me, well, he wasn't speaking to me directly. I was watching him on TV say this.
I just have this whole image now, though, from the guy going over there to confront this dude. The guy kicks him, "You get out of my house!" "Thank you, come again."
See, that's Indian. That's messed up, man. You're a racist.
Yeah, look at you got it all wrong. See, you be the one. You're this guy in the movie. Acting like a nice guy now. You be the main one. That guy got a bomb.
I know. You be kidnapping the Indian neighbor next door. He's like, I'm not even from Iran.
My country has blown up nothing.
The thing is, he wouldn't even be talking like that. He'd be like, "Man, what you doing?"
My parents grew up in America.
It'd be like M. Night Shyamalan.
Hey, man, I made the Sixth Sense.
I make a lady in the water. Oh, well, I'm going to shoot you just for that.
Well, I was going to say, that is kind of an act of terrorism.
Yeah. But, no, I'll just wrap this up by saying that, no, it averages out to pretty much just average movie. It's really good in the beginning, but that second half, it even drags a little bit, but as exciting as they want to make it and as suspenseful as they want to make it. And I like I said, another problem with me for this movie is that it really does hinge on liberal propaganda, and I'm a liberal. I mean, I don't consider myself a liberal or conservative, but I can see Republicans and conservatives taking this and saying, "See, look at what extreme they're going to with this."
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I really can. I don't want to get into it right now, but I guarantee you, if this movie was to get big, and I don't think it will, but if it got big, every conservative who has a talk show in this town are in this country would get this movie and use it as an example of, see, look at this liberal propaganda here. They're saying we're all crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I could totally see that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the movie had it balanced itself out a little bit better. Wouldn't have come across like that.
That's one of the main problems with this movie is that it's not balanced, and it really tries to manipulate you into seeing things a certain way, and it's like it's kind of false.
Because I'll be the first to tell you, if I saw a Middle Eastern dude and I walked by his door and I saw some
beakers and chemicals and rubber tubing in there. Yeah.
You be thinking the same thing.
Yeah, hell yeah, I'd be thinking the same thing. I mean, I don't know if I'd be following him or kidnapping the dude, but I would be like, spying on him every chance I got.
Yeah, I might call 911 down the street at the payphone.
At the same time, though, this is like, I mean, you can see what you're saying in the same way. Like, imagine like 50 years ago, some bunch of white guys sitting around is like, I don't have any problem with black guys. I don't think anything's wrong with them. But, if I see one sitting in a coffee shop, spend like an hour or two sitting next to a white girl, I'm going to think something's going on there.
Dude, they still do that.
Probably right.
Of
course, they're probably right, but that's beside the point.
Well, especially if it's an NBA player. But
Oh.
All right, I think it's a good time to get out of here. Oh, by the way, what would you give it?
Oh, rental.
Rental?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something that is better watched on television at home.
Yeah. I mean, I can't quite say some old bullshit, but yeah, it's to me, this is like a movie that's perfect for if it comes on cable, that's the best time to watch it, where you don't have to put any effort into it. Because a rental actually requires you to, send back your Netflix envelope or walk down to Blockbuster. I don't know if it's even worth that.
It's one of those movies you would catch on Cinemax or HBO, and it would catch you for the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, we're so lazy as a culture. It's like, I don't know if I'd even actually watch it on cable, because you gotta, like, go to the television and, like, sit down. And then sometimes you forget to grab the remote before you've relaxed, and you gotta get up again.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like falling behind the TV or something. No, screw that. This is like if somebody carries you into one of them Clockwork Orange chairs, and you don't have to spend the energy to blink.
Yeah, right. Now, if they were going to randomly beam it down into your brain from a satellite and you wouldn't have to move, then okay.
Yeah, if we had a category for that, I want it beamed into my head. That's what I give it, a beam. I give it a rental too.